Well met, lords and ladies, Jacob Butter speaking, and welcome back to another episode of... Okay, I just messed around with the controls a little bit because I've been having some volume issues over the past few days. Hopefully that's sorted it, but please do let me know because there's a lot that seems to have been moved around. But yeah, while that happens and I check the chat, let's go ahead and look at some of these. Make dinner, but I have to be here for this because I really hated this episode. I pretended Not Your Average Girl episodes just for this. I've been waiting years for this review. I guess the moment has arrived. Because I guess to zoom back about 3 months or so, we got to the last episode of Not Your Average Girl. Minus this one, of course. That was the end of the series proper. This is more of like the OVA style epilogue that you get with some anime. In combination with something interesting. Like I said before, Not Your Average Girl came out at around a time where like nothing that looked like it existed, and it came out at a time that a lot of the gacha the gacha community was centered around the particular, I guess, I guess. Tropes and things and customs that they had that have since either been mocked and become ironic, or they've just kind of passed into no one really talks about them anymore. I bring this all up because while Not Your Average Girl was ahead of its time in terms of, the stuff it was trying to do, minus the emulations of anime, which are of course, just of any time really, it still reflects a couple of the I guess the expectations and story ideas of the era, compared to something like Mutant Girl that actively tried to work against a few of them. I bring this all up because a lot of gachas back in the day would end with an episode featuring the children of the main protagonists. It used to be like a mini-movie thing, but sometimes there'd be a series where it's like, okay, we've got to this point, they've got together, we're gonna have like one final scene of, the kiddies, I suppose. Except not one final scene this time, it's one final full OVA product thing that's been happening. So, yeah, that's what we're dealing with today in this after story about the children of Mia. Already, at the very least, I'd be curious to see how on earth Mia's actually raising kids, but there you go. Let us begin. Without further ado, on with the review. What a great start. I almost missed the loud dabbing we had of the early days. Almost. I think I was actually around when this came out. I think that by that point I'd finished Not Your Average Girl, maybe I just finished it. I think so, anyway. Because there was a big gap, basically, between this this episode and the last episode of Not Your Average Girl, of at least a few months, basically. By which point I'm pretty sure I caught up with the show. So, yeah, I think so. I do remember that the thing that came out right after this, the Just My Luck, that was the one that I watched, when it came out. Because, it was when Midori started using voice actors. And, it was like, hey, well, no one knows that I'm here, so hopefully no one's going to credit him as the first, but there you go. Anyway, pettiness aside, we're not here for that, we're here for this episode. We'll tackle that one sometime in the future. Anyway, this feels so familiar. Yeah, because if people don't remember, this is how it looked when, Mia was hospitalized, I'm pretty sure. What if something happens? What if she needs me? Yeah, Jacob the OG. Yeah, I said this before, that I was recommending Not Your Average Girl after I think it had all come out, and I just kind of binge watched it all. So I think, yeah, that was basically it. Anyway. The last thing you should want is you to worry about her. I forgot all the voices I did for them in the reviews, unfortunately. Yeah, you're right. Oh, there it comes. Who are those two? I mean, the nurse I get, but who are the other two here? Like, they don't normally let, like, non-relatives inside. I would presume that, you know, Kyle would be let in, because why on earth wouldn't he be let in? So, yeah, these two, not so sure. Oh, I guess Gurmy's probably what. Oh, wait, that's aged up Gurmy. Okay, fine. I did watch it when it came out, but it's been a while. Anyways, congrats! It's a boy! What will you name the baby? I like how she's already sitting up. Probably the most unrealistic part of this whole, of this whole ordeal. The fact that she's able to sit up so calm enough for just giving birth. Anyway, the door's also wide open, I just realized that. That was supposed to be closed before. But, alright. I guess the baby's immediately gone to sleep as well. You know what? I'll take that over Aesthetic Prince covering the baby, and probably, if this has been done by Aesthetic Prince, it's probably been covered in, like, blood and gore and stuff. Which is realistic, but also, what the heck? Still remember that changing scene. Ugh. Speaking of changing scenes, we're going to put a pin on that one later, because there is one scene that is burned into my retinas after I watched it in this one. Anyways, potato! Maybe we should let the father decide. Agreed. Otherwise, the next baby's going to be called Grape Juice. Mia! Are you okay? Do you need anything? Is the baby still kicking? I mean, it's going to kick you in the head in a second, be careful. Just ask Potato. Potato. Okay, and slight edit of the intro here, because it's OVA style, so yeah. The OG Potato, of course. If the door that everyone will hear, they'll scream the building down. Potentially, if the door is open, then everyone will hear, yes. Although now I think about it, they didn't actually most of them didn't enter through the door. Kyle entered through like another side, which makes you wonder why that other door was open if they weren't going to use it. But, you know. I don't know, actually. I just said that. Anyways, there they are. There they remain. Oh yeah, I thought this was gonna be okay. Now I see what's going on. So I thought it was gonna be like a slightly like more trimmed down version of the intro, but no, we have just a bunch of other stuff. Which this does harken back, by the way, to Fell in Love with a Monster, which is the first time that Midori used an 8-bit sprite like this, which I've never seen anyone else do. That's one thing that does fascinate me about MidoriStories, is because he always did like all this stuff that of course nobody else had done, therefore there was no template, to which I of course relate. But some of the stuff that he did that didn't catch on intrigues me, because it's the idea of like, okay, this is what somebody would have done if it were, you know, in the absence of all these other things people have tried. Like nowadays, you could probably do this kind of thing in Gacha Life too if you're, you know, diligent enough. But yeah, like at this particular stage, yeah, this is kind of like become synonymous with Midori specifically. Even though it was essentially like an attempt to push the medium so you could actually have a fight with a monster in the first place, compared to just a humanoid-looking monster. And yet, you know, here we are now, no one else did this, and so now it just became Midori style. Yeah, you probably don't want to charge over while that's happening. I haven't played that many 8-bit games, I've played enough. This I do remember, but that didn't happen in this context. Is this the same video game, or... Oh no, this is just the montage. We did have this, I remember this now. The only thing that seems different is like the bit at the beginning with the kids, because now it's just... You know, I'm going to scroll past this. We've already seen everything here, and it's all seizure-inducing, so... Yeah. Oh, and there's the potato from the beginning, so yeah, some of this has been... That's it. Alright, here we go. Years later. Everyone say cheese. Okay, this is actually something that, I don't think Midori knows this, but, in Spanish, you don't say cheese when you're trying to smile for a photo, because it just doesn't match the, you know, because cheese in Spanish is queso, so you want to have like a chi-e like that, so you actually smile. That's the whole point of saying cheese. So you don't have queso, because it doesn't work. The solution was just pick a different food, and that food particularly was patata, which ends in a, which means you're at least like, you know, your mouth is wide open, so it's something. And patata, of course, is potato. So Midori narrowly missed a very justified opportunity to have Mia say potato for this photo. So close. So close. Yep, should have been in Spanish. Yeah. You know, if Midori ever needs if I wants to do Spanish versions of these shows, you know, my DMs are open. They always are. That's all I'll say. There was definitely something wrong with the battery of this computer, because I definitely charged it up before I unplugged it. But there you go. Anyways, YouTube potato. Okay, I'm gonna be clarified that his actual name is Mike in the captions. I guess that's just Mia's nice nickname for him. Alright. That works. That works. No notes. Anyways, bye. Have a great first day. Oh, okay. We got a little bit of another foreground thing. You know what I was saying a couple of reviews ago about how difficult it is to remove a bush with an existing background? I reckon this one probably was like another green screen bush, but it's like faded and blurred because it was a little bit difficult to crop out. But it does match the style of the rest here, so it is possible to find that kind of thing, even if it is very difficult. And yeah, didn't need to be added. Alternatively, this could just be like a smudge tool with an art program, and that's also why it looks that way. Which again, still matches the background. Ezra, don't forget your lunch is in Michaela's bag. That felt more like a Kyle line. I guess Mia's really taken to motherhood, which is a relief, quite frankly, at this stage. Hey, Mia? You don't think we're bad at parenting, do you? I mean, it's weird to have one of your kids' lunch in the other kid's bag, I guess next to that kid's lunch, but not bad, I would say. Just kind of a strange tactic. I mean, look at Mike. He's already acting like a teen. Oh, and she's like, who's Mike? Oh, wow. Okay. So it's not just a nickname. She literally only refers to him as Potato. Okay. Okay. Kyle, it's okay. As long as the kids have a great dad like you. End of sentence. That's it. No additions. An awesome mum like me. I mean an awesome mom. Yeah, who's Kyle? Yeah, I don't mean Pirate Boy. Nah, they should be fine. Also, yes, I will address the eye patch to cover up the scar. Fine. Alright then. Oh, okay, bye, Tamsin. It's been a while since we had some alone time. Alone time! I just remembered one of Jay's deliveries of an Empress line in Season 1 of Mutant Girl. Don't know why it was done like that, possibly in an attempt to emulate what Natasha was doing for Mrs. Dysart, because those two egg each other on, but I don't, yeah, who knows. Oh look, Midnight appears right after Tamsin leaves. I wonder. Have it? I've never noticed before. Have you two been in the same room together? The plot twist: Midnight was Tamsin's alter ego this whole time. Mrs. Dysart mentioned, and Empress, because it was Empress's line specifically. I think she was just saying it to Silas in Geneva, where she was like, have some alone time or something. But she went like, instead of saying just normally, she went alone time. I don't know. Anyways, oh, you never change, do you? I mean, there's been no mention of grape juice so far, so that's one thing that's changed. Oh, I thought you hated Empress. Actually, I'm surprised. Also, who is that? The person in the background. This one thing I always enjoy about Midori is like the extras. Sometimes doing weird things, but you could see like a kid doing like putting like weird faces in a reflective glass. So it's not like too out of the ordinary. Oh okay. I don't know. Just I know that somebody hated Empress because they wanted to be with Felix, and I thought that was you. But okay, fair enough. Doesn't want me, I'll go to Empress. Oh my goodness, it's like Kurosami all over again. We both dated the same guy, let's date ourselves. His standards are probably lower. Oh my goodness. Fun fact about Empress, because she was created by Jay, one thing that Jay actually said was that she was canonically unlucky in love. Because she used to be a part of Jay's videos long before mine. Not canon, obviously, before anyone, mentions the Butterverse in context of this. But yeah, like Empress was part of like a four roommate unit, basically. Between herself, Pink, who was a cop, Techno, who's a robot, and YN, who said about her the better. No, there were a couple of romances that happened between them. I think there was at one point it was implied that Techno had a crush on Empress in that continuity, like a couple of videos. They weren't super consistent one to the other. They were kind of a bit episodic in that sense. But yeah, that was that kind of thing. Which, by the way, there is one video I'm pretty sure that I filmed, which is the review of How to Be Straight. It was like part of like another video, and that was a video by Jay. That's the only footage I have of that anymore, because they all got deleted. But yeah, that was part of her. So basically, I tried to keep as much of I say not as much of Empress. I drastically changed her personality because she was way meaner in the Jay continuity. Like she liked to I guess this was around the same time that Little Tay was trending, so she liked to flex her wealth a lot as a result of that. So but whereas Empress can be aloof due to her wealth sometimes. It's not that she has bad intentions. That was the difference. But yeah, one thing that I did carry over was the being unlucky in love, and that was partly what inspired the whole arc of dating Felix in the first place, which was planned from the beginning. That's why they never saw each other in episode 1 when they were like dropping off the different kids. So yeah, we'll be lucky soon. I will say you've got more competition amongst the fan base for Empress's affections than you do for Felix's. Not gonna lie. Can we talk more about Mutant Girl? Let's leave this episode alone. I started doing a series called which were of creator commentaries back in March with Maya, and then I just forgot to continue them, and I forgot to actually edit the first one. So I might do that at some point. Go back and just do a whole commentary on like the different episodes, kind of like what Team 4 started in 4-Star Bento. I know that because you're number 1. I'm fully aware. But yeah, so I might do like a full you know, deep dive discussion type of thing for, you know, different episodes at some stage. Probably once, you know, have someone like along the ride who was there at the time. That's why I had Maya in the video. But yeah, we'll address that later, some other day. Anyways, hey Michaela, look what Tony posted on Instagram. Coming. He is spaced out, isn't he? I guess that's one thing, when you have like all the details in your background, once you like zoom in, you end up not having as much going on. You can see, I still see a little bit like the one with the silly face, but yeah, this is a very, very quiet scene. I think now he's looking back. Oh yeah, now they're looking back at each other. I was about to say, yeah, now something's happening. Okay. Hey, my name's Evan. Who are you? Well, speaking of Felix, look at that. His dad shows up. That's not him. That's another fun fact, actually. In Through Her Eyes, you know how like in Through Her Eyes I played Ryland Daniels, the nephew of Dr. Daniels, who was, you know, Felix's classmate, and Adri played Evan, Felix's dad. Those two roles are supposed to be swapped. This has happened a couple of times with Adri, where they've straightly just forgotten about like the role arrangements that we had, and then they wanted to do something else, and I just agreed. That's how they got Julius, actually, because I was originally going to be Julius, and then they forgot about that, and then the next day said, "Hey, you want to be Julius? Cool, sure. Why not?" And the rest is history. But yeah, same thing happened with Evan, actually, except I kept the same inspiration of Hercule from Dragon Ball for the voice, so that's why it kind of sounds like that. But yeah, that was supposed to be one of my character voices type of situation, compared to Ryan Daniels, who's just kind of you know, a little bit yeah, I feel neutral about this choice. Oh my goodness. You've seen the short, right, of when I actually filmed them in real life and got them to say the thing. Why are you sitting all alone? Well, a second ago you were right next to him. You kind of just pivoted to the side. I think that used to happen a lot in Gacha life, where you would pivot a character, they would pivot like around the knees rather than at the back. But yeah. Because I have no friends, but that's okay. I don't need them anyway. Same here. Not alone, buddies. Not alone, buddies. Well, if you don't mind, maybe we can be friends. I don't know. I think we should be enemies. I'm kidding. Really? Yeah, I don't see why not. Hee-hoo. Did you just become Mario being set on fire? What was that supposed to be? Another thing I like about MidoriStories videos, the appropriately sized vehicles, because most other people make them way too small. That was a very quick, like, they all scrambled the bus as quickly as possible, didn't they? Oh, look at that! It's Glinda. No one tell Bon about this. I'll get more watch Wicked comments. Make a gigantic car next time, Transformers style. Yeah, it's gonna become more like Sylvia's new obsession with monster trucks. When I laugh at my own jokes. Gonna be the guest gift from my boyfriend. Let us be glad. What have I done? What have I done? But this book is special to me. Okay, did I ask? That's an Emily line right there. It'll help me become a great soccer player. Oh yeah, that actually does weirdly foreshadow the next MidoriStories video, and I never realized that. Anyways, give me the book. Give me the book. Where is the book, Rachel? You wouldn't think I'm actually a wicked hater. Fair enough. I think I've probably heard more miraculous haters discuss them, sing the theme song than I have actual fans. So that tracks. Anyway. If you don't, I'll kill you. This is totally turned into Scooby from Mysteries of Occulta. You nerdy, stupid loser. Nerdy Pooh must die. Nerdy Pooh must die. I'll be back for that book, nerd. Oh, Gurmy says, come on, little sis. That's her sister? I guess the naming convention works, but okay. When Bond's not here, someone else has to sync up with me. Wait, is my ride? Is it time to go home already? Didn't we just get here? Ride to where, if that's the case? Circa, my friend. She can be a bit commanding. Also, Gurmy's a librarian in this. I would have not expected that for her, to be honest. Feels a bit too loud with a personality-wise to be a librarian. It's okay. I had the situation already handled. Because I'm Hardcore Henry. So don't get it mixed up. Capiche? Hardcore Henry, huh? Well, I'm Michaela. Nice to meet you. I'm mild-mannered Michaela. That's my name now. That's a class though, so see ya. She introduced herself. I am in love now. That's essentially what happened. He started blushing after she laughed in his face and then waved. Are we gonna have to talk about something? Henry, are you doing okay? There's a bit to unpack there, crushing on someone who just insulted your face like that. This book must help with girls too. It was a destiny. If someone laughed in my face, I sink to the ground. In shame, right? In shame, right? Awesome! Ah, here we go. This scene. This is the one. This is the one. Yep. Okay, yeah. So yes to the shame thing. This is the moment. The retina burning intensifies. No, it's somewhere in here. Why is your necklace in the girls' locker room anyways? Yeah, no, you remember it now, don't you? Yep, insert the Michael Scott meme here. No! No! God, no! 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 Yeah, basically. Yeah, okay. So watching me, were I mean, you said you were waiting for this episode. I assume you were waiting for my reaction to this scene, but I could be wrong. It's a long story. One that we don't have time for, and was just a contrivance to get to this point, apparently. It's about time we're done. I'm all sweaty. At least we get to relax in the locker room. Dude, hide! Quick! I mean, if it was... Actually, no, now I'm thinking about it. You would think that if a possession of his was in the girls' locker room, then it would presumably be in one of the bags, right? Which means that he would know which bag it belongs to, and he could ask for it back, right? Did he just lend it to someone, or did he just throw it into the locker room to have an excuse to come in later? That doesn't make any sense. I don't follow. That's why I need to know why they're in here. You have such a flimsy excuse for this that, why... This is the first day as well. Anyways. Okay. I'll be positive before we get to this next bit, because this is actually something that I really like about this video. This image, I mean, the way this was put together is what I'm saying. First of all, interesting. Someone's got a picture of a cheerleader in there. Possible. Wait, hold on. What does that say? What does that say? Cheerleading finals. Okay, so maybe it's a picture of themselves in the finals, or someone they admire from the finals. I don't know. Could be a lesbian locker here. Also, we've got an All Might action figure and a few, like, I guess, like, folded clothes from just, you know, paint smudges. So right off the bat, the custom background I really enjoy. The other thing, of course, is the fact that this is before Gacha Club, so we have no, there were no foregrounds that you could actually use. And even then, this isn't one of them, which means that Midori had to play around with something that would reduce the lighting of the scene. Nowadays, I can probably figure it out. I presume that this was done with a combination of potentially masking tools, so you could like just mask out an area in the middle of like a solid background, like turn down the opacity. That's how I would do it nowadays. Back in the day, I was so confused by it. I had no idea. That's what I think a lot about MidoriStories videos, that back in the day I had no idea how they were put together, and now I can probably pinpoint like most of the stuff, but you know, stuff that I learned over the course of a while after being shown that it was possible to begin with. So yeah, the visual of this I very much enjoy, because again, there really was nothing like this at the time, or at least not that I was aware of. I guess, wait, no, technically there was this point, because yeah, because this is mid 2019 now. So yeah, some people have started to like play around with this kind of thing, but it's still worthy of praise regardless. Anyways, now, however, we're gonna get into this scene, and I'm not gonna do any voices for this because it doesn't deserve voices. So I'm just gonna read everything as bland and modern as I possibly can. So like a lot of gacha voice acting now I think about it. Here we go. Also a bit of a shuffle forwards because again we're playing with you know the I guess like the perspective of, you know, forward and back rather than just, you know, up and down, left and right, implying 3 dimensions. So again, I always appreciate that about Midori's videos. Anyway, here we go. They're here. They're here. Girl, you looked great out there. Bro, yeah? I got a fart. Yeah. Can you hold in a little longer? I'll try. OMG, Emma, your body's so perfect. Bodies as in, like, the plural of body, not body apostrophe S? For me, that's kind of a weird typo to have. Ah yes, Emma, your body's so perfect. Both of them. What? How could they be so soft? Wait, stop. Don't do that. Okay, now I'm just imagining just applying like the multiple bodies. I'm just imagining the character prodding a bunch of corpses. But no, that's just me trying to recontextualize. Anyway, because Emma's is very Oh my goodness. Okay. All right then. Dude, you see this? Well, no, because you're blocking the entire view. Disadvantage of having the entire like window that you can see through be visible to the audience is the fact that we can tell that you're in fact peering over towards it. And it's like to the right as well. I would have shifted him over a little bit, but I guess maybe it's so yes, I guess it's so friend here would be able to do that. But yeah. Being alone with Jacob makes me feel on the spot. What does that mean? What does that mean? I don't feel on the spot. Oh wait, you mean in terms of like trying to like come up with like comedic stuff? Okay, sorry, yeah, and that makes sense. Anyway, Oh, correct, you're. That's something, I guess. You're blessed to have these things. Stop. When you touch them, I... Oh, look at that. He grows a nose right precisely for this scene. As if this couldn't get any worse. Midori infected me with his grammar. Yeah, and, Mike here's gonna be infected with something else soon. I don't think that works on YouTube. Oh, speaking of Midori, oh, I guess that's kind of Tomi actually. That's more like Tomi with a beard. Which, yeah, implying, I guess, a cinematic universe with Midori videos. Yes, I saw. Okay, wait a second. No, wait a second. We need to context this. So that wasn't just, artistic representation of what happened, right? Because if that had been the case, his soul would have ascended. He would have been shocked at like the face of, I don't know, the last Green Knight to ever exist, and then he would have fallen back into his actual body. But no, he fell outside of the locker, which means that his actual body ascended from the fumes of, I guess, the deadliest fart known to man, and was, I guess, snapped out of it by the mere suggestion of the Green Knight, which then made gravity affect him again, and he regained corporeal form. I have no questions about this at all, clearly. Yeah, what a sentence. Yeah, when I put it that way. When I put it that way. Oh, glitch. Hey, ladies. Could I get to the hospital, please? I've broken my spine. Ah, yeah, great, another quote. I am so glad that Midori has voice acting nowadays. This was, I think, Midori's last video without voice acting. I mean, normally I maintain this, that voice acting in a gacha series is not necessarily going to a requirement to make something as good as possible. There are plenty of shows out there that don't have voice acting that are amazing. However, when the creator offers this as an alternative, I say, yeah, bring on the voice actors. So, how was everyone's day? Amazing, great, horrible. Shameful, I'll say. Wait, no, wait, I see. I'll save it. Just as we expected. You expected Mike's day to be horrible? What kind of parents are you? Good grief. I at least like the fact that we now have the outro with the kids this time, rather than because this was the same visual they had before, like showing us the next generation, basically. Problem is, we don't really know that. This felt like a backdoor pilot, almost. I mean, it could have been. It would be the first time that Midori has done that kind of thing, or even had like 2 shows for the same application, actually. And yeah, I guess there's these as well. But yeah, we didn't really get to know much about them. We got to know that, one of them had no friends and therefore, like, has one friend now. Another one was, I guess, jovial and happy and said hi to Hardcore Henry in the library. And has a few embarrassing friends, actually. And we know that Mike is an idiot, I guess. But yeah, like, I don't know. That's not a lot, I guess. Like, maybe for like a first day of school, it feels like it sets up a bunch of things that you want to see, like, explored a little bit further. Like, all the stuff I mentioned are actual things we learned from the episode, but you want to see them a bit more. You want to get a bit more of, like, the nuance behind it, and you really can't with, like, how it's been divided. If this had been, like, maybe about one child that they had who went through a few of these experiences, or maybe a bit more of Mike's journey to see, like, how he lost the necklace in a room you'd never been in before, presumably. You know, if I just focused on that, maybe we would have had something here, because clearly that was the big you know, that was the big like clencher, I guess, especially if you ask Emma. Um, but because that feels like the scene of kind of a lot of this was building up to, because the other ones would felt like more generic by comparison. But yeah, Hardcore Henry, I think he actually reappears in. I think there's a Henry in Just My Luck, and I think that was him, Hardcore Henry. So again, implied cinematic universe, which I guess means that the 8-bit sprite from Fell Up with the Monsters might be real, but we'll see. Is there anything else in here? No, there isn't. And I guess since I almost quoted it earlier, I guess I'll have to play the video now.
That wasn't a good play.
I'll say. No kidding. Horrible. You said it.
But the effects were decent.
Amazing how many times I've played that using a gacha video. Amazing how it just keeps on being relevant. And amazing how it happens to apply to one of my greatest inspirations when it comes to, you know, the making of gacha content in general. I mean, we all kind of collectively, I guess, agreed while we were looking through the reviews that Not Your Average Girl sort of fell off in terms of what it was trying to do, because it tried to conclude a bunch of stuff and amp up a lot of drama that was very quickly introduced. I guess that might be because in the slice of life genre, that kind of thing is viable to happen sometimes. But it didn't quite work. That being said, there's a comment that I left 6 years ago on that video that does say that, you know, it's proven that Midori has proven without a shadow of a doubt that, you know, this stuff is that the gacha can rise and evolve past what it was at the time. I stand by that, but again, it's one of those things where, you know, you notice something. Yeah, you can definitely acknowledge that something like had a peak at some point, without you know, disliking the whole entire thing, which is the same here. You know, wasn't a fan of how this ended up concluding, because well, at the time anyway, because it seems like it's trying to set up a bunch of stuff that never really like gets to explore. I guess it's meant to be like a peek into like the futures of the characters and like the children, but we're invested more so in like in the parents at that point, and they barely featured in this. In fact, I think Gurmi had like any lines, actually. Again, the loudest character in the series didn't actually talk and was apparently now a librarian. But yeah, I don't know. Obviously, the final scene is the one that is the most memorable. Again, a little bit you know, leaning in towards the anime tropes for sure on that one. To its very little credit, it is more subtle in what in the maturity of that scene than most of the other, like, you know, gachas that try to veer to that territory to this day. Because you know, a lot of gachas will rely particularly on trying to explain everything as blatantly as possible, whereas with this kind of thing, it's something that I actually learnt in while I was studying a unit on writing for radio as part of my creative writing course at university. And there was, we were reading through it basically, because, you know, classic thing of like reading through in class, like a particular radio script. And it got to a particular scene where I think I'm gonna paraphrase this a little bit. It was between like a dad and a son who was about to go off to college, and they were saying their goodbyes in the car, and, you know, saying, okay, like, check through a bunch of your things, you know, check you've got everything, you know, make sure I've got something in this in the bag. And I was like, and he looks in the bag. It says, like, he rummages in the bag, or sound effects of that, and then all it says in the dialogue is, "Ah, Dad, It's like, well, you can never be too unprepared. What is this? Like, like that kind of interaction. And it's never explicitly stated, but the implication is the dad has offered his son, I guess, contraceptives should he need them. And again, I remember that particularly because it was obviously meant to be a funny, like embarrassing, parent moment because that that kind of thing does happen. I guess you have to acquire them from somewhere, or someone. But that actually, like even the teacher who has most of his particular writing career, because the tutor that taught me is actually one of the writers on the series The Crown from, I believe, Netflix, is it? He has a long history with writing other I say screenplays, yeah. And that module alone, because he was on the fence about it before, was kind of almost like out of obligation. He actually considered after that point, experimenting with writing for radio, because that one script convinced him that, oh wow, there's something in there, and that one scene. So again, I can appreciate the fact that someone was trying to do something here that was a little bit subtle, and honestly, this scene was kind of on my mind when I pitched the methodology of the brownies joke in Fallen Angels. Because I guess for those watching this later, VOD watchers, if you don't know, in Fallen Angels, there's a character named Harvey that I voice, who is very protective over his specific brand of brownies. The joke is, of course, that those brownies are in fact, yes, we'll see. Prism knows, yeah. Those brownies are in fact, spiced up again, for the sake of YouTube. But the thing is, they're never actually said. And while we were writing those first few episodes, like Aiden and I, this was the one thing that I was very insistent about this joke. Like normally, because it's Aiden's show, he has power of veto basically, but he trusts me. So I kept on telling him, no, we cannot like state this out loud. Don't go into this. Like, make sure that trust the audience will get this. I know that a lot of people miss the subtlety of this series, but this joke will land. I promise you. And it did. So it became that show's version of neutral, basically. Whereas less of a catchphrase and more of, a running gag that everyone is in on. The most that we've pushed it is occasionally he's about to say something about that, but then the dialogue he gets interrupted. Like it goes like, oh wow, yeah, I didn't think about that until last time. It was high time that we should get out of here, right? That's the most that we've done. And again, that was really Aiden trying to make sure it's apparent. It's apparent. Like I said, people understand. So yeah, it does go to show that you can take out something positive from a scene that you can say is probably a negative overall. I've even mentioned the fact that it was paired up with a long-timed fart joke, because I didn't think it was necessary. That I have not taken inspiration from in any capacity, and I don't intend to do so. So yeah. This goes to show, sometimes these videos can leave a different impression on you, and you never know where something might have come from. And I learned that a lot with these reviews as well, when it comes to people talking about Stronger Than You, which I was going to watch today before I realized that, oh wait, we missed out on something before the crossover happened. Yeah, I learned more about like what's inspired other people where they recommend certain things. Or I can detect inspirations that others have taken from even the live chatters, as the case of Elementia. It's a very interesting experience, doing this, and that's why, it's even after so many years of consistent Gacha reviews, it's not there's still something new to offer. Like when I started Gacha review, I thought like eventually I'd run out of things to say, like I'd just be repeating the same points in like nearly every episode, which to a certain extent I do repeat a lot of points that I've made previously. I mean, some people don't watch one video to the next, or, you know, because it's live stream, people don't tune in at the time. They don't decide to catch up. They just say, I'll catch the next one. But those errors obviously keep appearing because, you know, that's they tend to be common pitfalls, or, you know, occasionally you have very specific ones, and, you know, obviously the jokes and the way that they're contextualized, you know, that's what keeps it interesting, I think. So yeah, thank you so much if I'm not always here. I appreciate that. I mean, yeah, again, like, obviously, you know, you're busy and your time zone alone means that you're not always here. But yeah, I wasn't aiming that directly at anyone. I wasn't trying to, like, say, like, oh yeah, you know, what a fantastic show this is. I just mean that, you know, it's what kept it interesting for me, basically, you know, constantly doing this. It doesn't feel like I'm repeating myself more than I have to, and that, you know, everything, you know, has a chance to be something new, even if I happen to have seen the series already, like is the case in this one. Made your life better? Really? Wait, what's that paired with heartbreak? I mean, I'm flabbergasted. I'm flattered that's the case, but wow. All right then. This is a very wholesome way to end off this episode. And I think that's probably the best way to that's probably the best send off that one of the shows that inspired me the most can receive, considering that we already did kind of like a conclusion beforehand. But yeah, I guess we're not done yet, because next time we have to close. We need some support with your series. I mean, I assume that because you have a whole production team, so I would have thought, you know, they would count. But, you know, I'm glad that I'm glad that, you know, my support particularly, you know, means so much to you particularly. Yeah. So yeah, you're welcome for that. I lost my train of thought now. I think that's probably the best way to wrap this up, I suppose. Yeah. Basically, bring it in. Yeah, there you go. Advantage of face cam. Nah, it's fine. You're right. Yeah, I guess that's it. Yeah, so it got a fantastic send off, I suppose, or at least the best send off I'm capable of right now. But we're not done yet. That's what I was gonna say. We're not done yet, because next time is for real. We are, in fact, going to get to the one Lunar Sun Studios video that I watched before I made the channel, because I didn't realize it was not a MidoriStories channel to begin with, and that is Stronger Than Your Average Girl. the at the time greatest gacha crossover that had been attempted. Next time, it's getting real. Maybe not canonical, but certainly real. So please leave a like or dislike, because your opinion matters, and subscribe to us already. And on that note, until next time, farewell. Say cheese or potato in Spanish.